Heavy rain and a flood threat continues for some of our area. We'll look at that in the week ahead. Your forecast across the Caribbean and the Bahamas starts right now.
This is Meteo Mundo.
Hi friends, Rusty back with you here at Meteo Mundo. It is Monday. I hope you're having a great start to your week. Coming up, we have to talk about some heavy rain and flood potential I'm seeing in portions of the Caribbean and the Bahamas. We have many new subscribers and I welcome here to Meteo Mundo. If you've been looking for your weather forecast across the Caribbean and the Bahamas, you have found your home. I do have a special favor to ask of you guys, but we'll do that in a minute. We'll get right into the forecast for you right now. And I want to get into the areas that continue to be plagued by some heavy rain and a flood potential. There's actually several areas. I'm going to start off right now with my friends in Puerto Rico and the Virgin Islands. You're looking at the live radar out of San Juan on this Monday afternoon, where heavy rain continues to develop across this area, mainly working its way from south to north. And as has been the trend, the rain becomes more widespread and heavier later in the day and even during the evening hours. So we're really just kind of beginning to ramp things up for you right now. You can see on the live radar, we're seeing some heavier rain beginning to move back into the southern side of the island from Santa Isabel to Guayama, Yabucoa, Humacao, all could see some scattered heavier showers. This is lifting north towards San Juan, places like Ponce and Aguadilla and Isabela and Mayaguez on the western sides of the island could catch some scattered showers. But again, I really just expect this to fill in as we go through the day. We've had some quick river rises. We've had some isolated flash flooding. We've had some mudslides and some landslides across the island the last few afternoons, and this will continue. Even on the eastern side of the island, Fajardo towards the coastal islands, Culebra and Esperanza, scattered rain continues there. We've had some heavier rain for portions of the U.S. Virgin Islands. St. Croix got hammered last night with several inches of rain. They had flash flood warnings. Now, currently, there's no flash flood warnings as I record this, but that could change at the snap of a finger with the heavy, excessive rain that is possible. Same thing for St. Thomas and St. John and portions of the British Virgin Islands as well. So this is an area I'm going to be closely monitoring for more heavy rain. And again, a lot of this is going to fall in the late afternoon and the evening hours. Scattered showers and a few storms continue to develop across Hispaniola, portions of the Dominican Republic and Haiti. This is an area that will also have a flood potential at least over the next 3 days. We already have saturated soil. It's been wet. And again, if you live in these areas, let me know in the comment section below what you're seeing. Wherever you are, drop it in the comment section below. I'd love to hear from you how your weather has been. And of course, you have a specific question about the forecast, you can ask that as well. I'm happy to answer that. So that's one of the areas that I'm going to be closely monitoring. Another area here, as we get back to the broad perspective, is going to be my friends in the Northwest Bahamas. That's the satellite imagery. I'm going to throw on the radar as well and then take off the satellite. We've continued to see some showers and even a few storms work their way into the Northwest Bahamas on this Monday afternoon, especially for Walker's Key on over towards Grand Bahama. You can see some heavier rain and again, even a few storms and some gusty winds rolling across places like Weston and Freeport and Lucaya and High Rock as we speak. Everything is moving from the west to the east and is sagging off towards the south. Good complex of storms coming off the east coast of Florida will work their way across Bimini and then eventually again Grand Bahama and portions of Abaco. And then as we get towards the latter half of the day and then potentially even overnight, places like Andros and New Providence and Eleuthera could catch some of these showers and storms. Now the dichotomy of this is that we've got some heavy rain and storms and maybe even some potential isolated flooding, whereas in general, the Northwest Bahamas is actually under a drought watch right now. It's been exceptionally dry there, and overall, dry conditions are expected to continue, and we'll talk more about that coming up. So showers and storms now, take what you can get, Northwest Bahamas. Not a lot more rain in the forecast here in the short term. Back over to the broad perspective, I'm going to throw on our current temperatures for you right now as well. And again, if you're not seeing any of the rain, generally speaking, you're well into the upper 80s or the lower 90s. It's been pretty steamy outside. And again, in the areas that have had some rain, we've had some pretty good breezes as well. My friends in Jamaica, we are getting a few scattered showers and even an isolated thunderstorm developing on this Monday afternoon. Some of you have let me know recently you've had some of that rain. Again, let me know how it's going right now. It's a little bit cooler with some thicker clouds in Montego Bay. Kingston hasn't been able to get up to 90 yet. That's great news. Again, extra cloud coverage and a few showers popping up across the island. And that's going to be kind of the forecast here over the next several days, getting a couple of showers, and that's about it. The thicker cloud coverage breaks apart when you get into the northern Leeward Islands from Anguilla on over towards Antigua and Barbuda. Isolated rain is possible there. It's just generally hot and dry from Dominica south to Martinique and St. Lucia, St. Vincent and the Grenadines. Notice your low-level clouds are moving off towards the east. Your mid-level clouds are coming in from the south into the west. It's even a little bit more prominent in that zone of lift here, and you can almost see just a little bit of a twist. But if nothing else, you see our clouds at different levels of the atmosphere moving in different directions. So that's why they're getting that rain. There's more lift and more moisture in the atmosphere there. My friends in the ABC Islands are high and dry, and my friends from Barbados to St. Vincent and the Grenadines, Trinidad and Tobago, again, enjoying a lovely but relatively dry forecast. All right, so speaking of the forecast, let's get into it. By the way, I have several 5-day forecasts coming up, so stick around for that. First thing I want to do here is look at our wind vectors, and this is going to be your wind direction over the next 5 days. Generally speaking, we're going to have our easterlies, and it might just take a second for the model to completely load up here, a lot of data. And I can take a second and say, if you haven't liked the video yet, drop me a like. I absolutely appreciate it. Now that it's fully loaded, we can take a look at it. So generally speaking, we're going to have our easterlies through most of the Caribbean. All of the Lesser Antilles, Puerto Rico, Hispaniola. Notice again, my friends in the Bahamas do pick up a north wind all the way through the Turks and Caicos, portions of Cuba, and even the northwest side of the Caribbean, like Jamaica and the Cayman Islands, will have a little bit fresher northeast breeze to maybe cut that humidity down just a little bit. But generally speaking, it's east winds, 15 to 20 knots. And again, we have this very interesting feature out here, just showing you again, that broad rotation. And this is winds at 10 meters in the atmosphere, so 30 feet in the air, and we still have a little bit of a twist. And this was kind of one of the big highlights, if you will, that I've been monitoring the last several days. Now, of course, this is not going to become anything tropical. You can see that here, but to have this feature in late April is very unusual. And the fact that it's kind of undercutting, right, and going in a different direction, south and west, this north in latitude, again, we don't typically see that here in April. So it's just another interesting feature to keep an eye on. It's going to dissipate. Of course, we do have our mid-latitude cyclones still coming off the United States East Coast. My friends in Bermuda, I feel like your average wind speed a day has been about 40 miles an hour. It's been ridiculously windy there. All right, let's get into the rain and where I'm going to be watching some showers and storms in the areas that I'm concerned about for some potential flooding. I've obviously already highlighted some of those areas. This one, I'm going to start off with what's going to be happening in Hispaniola over the next 5 days. You're going to see a lot of green, a lot of yellow, a lot of orange on the map each and every day. There is this broad trough, okay, and a lot of moisture along it and lift in the atmosphere, and it's just not moving much. So we're going to continue to see these same areas being plagued by excessive rainfall. And there certainly is the opportunity for some flash flooding, for some mudslides and landslides, especially in interior locations. Hispaniola, if you don't know, is a very mountainous island, very high terrain, very high elevation changes and short areas, short distances. So it all unfortunately leads to that kind of potential when you're dealing with more than a few inches of rain in the forecast between now and Friday. So for places like Santo Domingo and Punta Cana along the coastline, scattered showers will continue. I think you get inland, it's a little bit more concerning. Santiago de los Caballeros off towards the south. Scattered rain will continue for places like Port-au-Prince and Lacaille on the Haitian side. Again, some of this is beneficial rain, but generally speaking, we're getting too much in too short of amount of time. And I'm letting this run over the next 5 days, and you're going to see showers and storms developing each and every afternoon. It's just a simply wet forecast there. It's about the same scenario for my friends in Puerto Rico. Again, we've had quick river rises. We've had some flash flooding. We've had some mudslides and landslide issues. We've had some flash flood warnings. All of this could still be in play through at least Wednesday through portions of Puerto Rico, the U.S., and the British Virgin Islands. It's just simply a wet forecast, and the rain becomes relatively widespread. And the interesting thing is, look, I'll show you the 5-day forecast coming up in just a second. I've mentioned the more widespread evening rain, but you can see, just like today, there will be some rain around in the morning. There will be some rain developing in the afternoon and then redeveloping in the evening. But this is Friday, and the model actually brings in about the wettest weather. The lowest rain chance between now and Friday across the islands is going to be a 50% chance in the afternoon hours. And quite honestly, I might have to rethink the Friday number and bump it back up. But you're looking at widespread rain, the potential for some isolated flash flooding. Just stays wet, friends. 70% chance in San Juan through Wednesday, 50% chance on Thursday and Friday. Temperatures that will be remaining in the lower 80s. As we move on, let me ask that favor of you guys. If you're new to the channel, again, and you haven't hit that subscribe button, click that subscribe button right now. If you are a subscriber and you think you're getting something beneficial out of the forecast here at Meteo Mundo, please share this channel and this video with your family and friends. I'd certainly appreciate it. We're getting closer to hurricane season. Obviously, some of the information we'll be passing along will become more and more important. And again, we're building a weather community here and would love to grow that community as we get a little bit closer to May and June. But again, thank you so much for liking the video and subscribing. Now, we'll continue to see scattered rain move into the Leeward Islands as well, Anguilla, Barbuda, Antigua, St. Kitts and Nevis, St. Bartholomew, Saba, all with isolated rain chances. And again, this area does have some of that Saharan dust, some of that haze. Generally speaking, it gets worse the farther south that you go, but we've continued to see that haze move across the islands. Never liked it when I was a boater. Don't like to see that hazy horizon, but that's going to be the case for Dominica and Martinique and St. Lucia and Barbados. Again, you can see as we get towards the end of the week, the 24th, the 25th to the 26th, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, I think rain chances begin to improve in this area at least a little bit. So I'll be watching that, but generally speaking, it will be a dry couple of days here. We'll try and nudge in some rain for my friends in Trinidad and Tobago and the Grenada and St. Vincent and Grenadines area as well. Kind of a little bit more moisture access coming back in. I wish it was a little bit wetter for the ABC Islands. I feel like I continue to just say overall there's not much of a rain chance, but there's not much of a rain chance. Daytime highs are easily in the lower 30s centigrade there through Aruba, Bonaire, and Curacao. They might catch an isolated shower coming off of the mainland, but not a lot of moisture driving that far to the south. And a lot of that heavier rain is actually going to move off towards the west into Panama and Costa Rica and bring them the potential for some excessive rainfall. For my friends in Jamaica, there is not one day of this week I expect it to be completely dry. But there's not one day of the week that I'm highlighting for a much better chance for a shower or storm. I think we'll get an isolated shower and a rumble of thunder this afternoon. I think midweek we have an opportunity that might be a little bit higher, but I'm talking about a 20 to a 30% chance at best. And I mentioned it in yesterday's video. That's not going to be enough to cause any problems. Some of you have said, hey, we've gotten some rain. It's been beneficial for the farmers. Drop it in the comments section below. Let me know what you're seeing, but at least that chance is there. I know it's low for Kingston, but at least it's not zero. We've got a 20% chance today. And look, you know what's going to happen. If you don't catch rain in the afternoon, temperatures are going to be steamy and the humidity is going to be up. So Wednesday, I expect it to be a little bit drier. So 92, the daytime high in Kingston. Then a 30% chance for an isolated shower or even a storm on Thursday and a few showers on Friday with a high right around 90 degrees. So at least we'll get some cloud coverage if nothing else, but the rain chance in this area does remain fairly low. Same situation for Central America. A few coastal showers are possible in Belize. Otherwise, I think we'll be dry. Daytime highs in places like San Pedro and Belize City will be in the upper 80s. You go inland towards San Ignacio and Orange Walk, about 95, 96 at the coolest. Look, it's not going to shock me if we get a number later in the week out of San Ignacio that's right around 100 degrees. It'll be steamy there. If you have any travel plans for Cancun and Cozumel, we are looking pretty good. A spotty shower is possible, but many dry hours and locations across the Yucatan. Now, back over to the Bahamas. And again, the rain and how this is going to play out. Let me switch over to a quick different model for you here real fast, and we'll look at how the showers and storms that are currently out there right now will continue to move in. Now I've got the wind layer on. Let me take that off and throw this into motion. So you're looking at our high resolution model imagery here for the northwest Bahamas. And you can see these showers and storms working their way off towards the south. They're going to try and hold together, especially as they get down towards Nassau and Arthurstown. They'll be a little bit more scattered in nature and break apart into the southeast Bahamas and eventually into the Turks and Caicos. Now, for the Turks and Caicos, you're close enough to the moisture on the northern side of Hispaniola. Could even see a few showers work your way back up to the north in this area. But let me pause this loop and we'll kind of march this step by step for you here right now. Let's get back to the northwest side and we'll start off the radar. There it goes. It pops back on. Oh, I'm hitting the wrong button. All right. What is it going on? It does fade away for a second. Let's see here. Let's just do this. There we go. All right. I can manually move it like that. It just wasn't cooperating with me. Sometimes me and this computer, we have an issue, but we're good now. So you can see, why'd it go away again? You can see that this rain, hopefully there it is going to be moving south and east throughout the rest of the evening. Now again, there's a drought watch in effect for this area, but there could also be some stronger storms for Marsh Harbor and Freeport. And then as we get into the wee hours of tomorrow morning, you can see that rain entering places like Nassau, San Andros, and Dunmore Town. They'll continue to break apart as they move south and east. And look, I don't expect there to be a lot of heavier rain out of this. There'll be some gustier winds. By the time we get into tomorrow evening, the rain is basically faded away. So we got one shot of a line of showers and a few storms. Again, nothing too strong overall, but we'll catch that opportunity. And again, right now for Grand Bahama, it is pretty nasty out there, and that will be the case over the next couple of hours. Forecast for Grand Bahama looks like this. 70% chance for showers and storms the rest of this Monday, and then that's it. We're dry. We're going to pick up a north wind. It'll be a little bit breezy from time to time. Look, it has been really lovely weather in the Bahamas if you enjoy a bit of a cooler start to spring. We're back into the upper 70s tomorrow and Wednesday, just 80 on Thursday. And how about Friday, 82, breezy and pleasant. But again, the only opportunity to get rain over the next 5 days in this area is going to be the remainder of today. All right, speaking of rain over the next 5 days, that's our next stop here on this journey, and that is how much rain is going to fall in your area. Again, the blues are rainfall totals less than an inch over a 5-day total. So between now and late Friday evening, this actually takes us out to as early on Saturday morning. But we look at these areas, and again, inland sides of the Dominican Republic, our model is painting on more than 6 inches of rain in a couple of spots. If that were to hold true, we could certainly be dealing with some potential flooding issues. It's something I'll be monitoring as we go through the week. Santiago de los Caballeros, a little bit more than 3 inches of rain. Puerto Plata, again, still relatively wet there. It does cut off as you get closer to the coastlines, but still, these are relatively impressive rainfall totals over 5 days. Santo Domingo, I think 2 to maybe even 3 inches of rain is possible. And then towards Punta Cana, La Romana, 1.5 inches, 2 inches. But it's just a wet forecast through all of the island, even Port-au-Prince. Port-au-Prince can be hot and dry. 1.5 to 2 inches of rain. Lacaille, 1 to 2 inches of rain possible there. It's another big old bullseye right on through this area. Same thing. Puerto Rico, inland areas there, 2.5 inches of rain. And again, Spani, Guayama, Yabucoa, more than an inch of rain there. San Juan, 1.5 inches. In addition to some heavier rain. You get over towards Aguadilla, there have been some river rises on the northwest sides of the island, and nice little bullseye there, more than 2 inches of rain through portions of the interior sections of the island. Fajardo, over 2 inches of rain. St. Croix, an additional potentially 2, but we're kind of averaging things. There will be some spots that see a lot more than this. It's just how this is going to be played out. St. Thomas towards Tortola. And again, you do get into the Lesser Antilles, and we do start to see the rain totals break apart a bit, but scattered showers will continue. Notice a lot of blues there, potentially a few areas like Guadalupe and Dominica that could catch more than an inch of rain. And if we're going to see some of that heavier shower activity in this part of the islands, it's going to be later in the week because it's relatively dry right now. But again, 1/4 to 1/2 inch in a lot of those spots. One other area to check out real quickly is going to be my friends in Jamaica. And again, as I've mentioned, I'm not concerned about any heavier rain or any flash flooding issues, because we're going to have about maybe an inch of rain towards Port Antonio, Kingston, 1/4 to 1/2 inch in a couple of spots. Right now, the model tries to bring in a little bit more rain interior. That would be pretty good news. Mandeville, Maypen area is about, 1/2 inch of rain. And then you get towards Savannah, Lamar, and Negril and Montego Bay. That rain might be just a little bit more isolated in nature. But relatively speaking, for late April, this is a very wet forecast in this area. There's going to be a lot of heavier rain in portions of Central America as well. Friends, you know you can find us through all of social media. We're on Instagram, TikTok, X, Facebook. Email us, send me a picture or video, business inquiries, myMediaMundo@gmail.com. Once again, thank you so much for liking the video. Thank you so much for subscribing. I certainly appreciate you. Have a great rest of your Monday, and I will see you soon right here at Media Mundo.